I never considered my income a secret. Secrets imply drama, concealment, intention. Mine felt more like a practical omission, the kind of information that complicates things unnecessarily. Money has a peculiar way of entering rooms before you do, shaping conversations, softening honesty, sharpening expectations. With Nikita, life had been refreshingly ordinary. Coffee in small cafes, long walks, arguments about trivial things that had nothing to do with status or lifestyle. He knew I was comfortable, successful, independent. The specifics never seemed relevant, until his family entered the picture. "Don't be nervous," he told me that morning, adjusting his jacket in my hallway mirror. "They're simple people." Simple. Such a harmless word, such a loaded one. The idea arrived casually, almost playfully. What if I met them without the invisible weight of numbers attached to me? No assumptions. No recalibrated politeness. No careful conversational shifts triggered by perceived wealth. "I'll dress down a bit," I said. He smiled. "You don't have to impress anyone, that wasn't the point." I chose clothes that muted everything, neutral fabrics, no structure, nothing that suggested precision or expense. The aesthetic of someone whose life runs on practicality rather than leverage. When we arrived, the house greeted us with warmth that felt genuine and studied at the same time. Family homes carry their own emotional climate, photographs, inherited furniture, small details that signal continuity. I noticed everything automatically. Years of navigating high-stakes environments had trained me to read spaces quickly. His mother embraced him first, then turned to me. Her smile was polite, searching. "You're from the city?" "No," I replied lightly. "Countryside." It wasn't entirely false. Just incomplete. Something subtle flickered across her face, not disapproval, not approval. Classification. The evening unfolded with careful civility, questions wrapped in politeness. "What do your parents do? Do you like living here? Was it difficult moving away?" Each answer required calibration, enough truth to remain believable, enough restraint to preserve the role. What unsettled me wasn't hostility. It was adjustment, tone shifts too delicate to challenge, explanations simplified slightly, advice offered with faintly instructional warmth. Nothing overt, everything unmistakable. Yet alongside it, something else emerged, unexpected ease. His father spoke to me without performance, without calculation. There was a steadiness to his presence that ignored social positioning entirely. "You're quiet," he observed gently. I listened first. He nodded, as if this confirmed something rather than explained it. For a moment, the experiment felt almost justified. Until dinner, money entered the conversation the way it always does, casually, inevitably. Economic pressures, rising costs, a relative's financial trouble. Then, inevitably, "And what exactly do you do?" The question came from his sister, direct, curious. "I work in consulting." "What kind?" "Business." "How successful?" A harmless question. Except success means very different things depending on context. "Comfortable," I said. They accepted the answer too easily. That ease unsettled me. Because comfort is elastic. Comfort can mean survival or excess depending on who's listening. The turning point arrived quietly. Not through confrontation. Through recognition. His father stared at me suddenly, fork paused mid-air. His eyes narrowed slightly, not in suspicion, but recollection. "I've seen you before." The room stilled. Professional reflex activated instantly. "It's unlikely." "No," he said slowly. "Not unlikely." He stood, crossed to a cabinet, and returned with a thin stack of papers. Financial documents, business reports, something work-related. He placed one in front of me. There was my name. There was my photograph, corporate profile. For a few seconds no one spoke. Reality has a strange acoustic quality when it shifts. The silence feels heavier, almost structural. His mother's expression changed first. Not shock, recalibration. Nikita stared between me and the document, confusion giving way to comprehension. "You." It wasn't accusation. It wasn't admiration. It was disorientation. "You make." The number remained unspoken. Numbers suddenly felt obscene in that room. "I didn't hide it," I said carefully. Every word required precision now. I just didn't define myself by it. The atmosphere altered instantly. Not dramatically. Subtly. Questions sharpened. Tone tightened. Distance appeared where warmth had been. Not because of the money, but because of the deception. Because identity, once destabilized, contaminates everything retroactively. What else was misrepresented? What else was curated? What else was performance? Later, driving home, Nikita remained silent, not angry, thinking, processing. Finally, why? Such a simple question. Such an impossible one. I wanted to know if things would feel different. And I watched the passing streetlights blur into indistinct motion. Yes, I said quietly. Yes, they did. The truth landed between us with uncomfortable clarity. Because the experiment had revealed something I hadn't anticipated, not their assumptions. My own. The belief that perception could be tested without consequence. That authenticity could be selectively suspended, that relationships remain stable when foundational context is manipulated. Weeks passed. Nothing collapsed. Nothing fully recovered either. Trust, once fractured by distortion rather than betrayal, behaves unpredictably. We still spoke. Still met. But something subtle had shifted. Not distance exactly, but awareness. A quiet recognition that we were now navigating not just each other, but the memory of misalignment. Love had not failed. But certainty had. And perhaps that was the most honest outcome possible. No villains, no victories, only the uncomfortable residue of a question I could no longer answer cleanly. What exactly had I been testing? Them, or my own fear of being seen clearly?